every athlete, every person, every human being has an opportunity. Some opportunities don't come when you want them. But if you're prepared, good opportunities can happen. Always be ready, because you never know when your number is gonna get called.
I'm not coming back.
Emiy Apparel. Encourage me. I'm young.
Calvin T. Mann, leading Emiy, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to Emiy TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Good afternoon. And just like that, we're back like Batman and Robin. We back in this mug like superheroes. That bounce back game is heavy, and a lot of people gonna miss it. Good afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Calvin T. Mann. Get used to it, cause we used to it. In the building is Heather and the Mo.
Hey, good day.
And so we are getting ready to have this discussion today. But before we do that, we just got the word rest in peace to Whitney Houston's mom. Make sure you guys pray for their family and their loss at this time. Their mom was a phenomenal gospel icon and did some the most beautiful things. Brought the world plenty, and so we asking that you pray for Sissy Houston. Also, I learned something new today. I'm sure you guys didn't know this. You ready?
Yes.
Michael Jackson was the reason that people were able to put their music on MTV.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people didn't know that. So behind the scenes, Michael Jackson was going through a number of things. MTV was only a rock station. And they didn't want to allow that music on their platform. So MTV was just going to do rock. So Michael Jackson created Thriller. He said because all the videos were just ordinary videos, nobody was putting it in it. So he put together Thriller, invested in Thriller, and Thriller became the first video because the CBS records and all the other record companies literally had called in and expressed that they were going to pull all of their pop artists off of MTV if they wouldn't let Michael in, and Michael dropped Thriller.
Wow.
And that opened up the door for all the other genres of music to be on MTV, and it actually exploded MTV into what it is today.
Wow.
Well,
How about that little known fact?
right.
And look, Monique in the industry, so she's like, yeah, I know about that. She got that information. I don't have that information.
I didn't know.
I am not in that industry.
I did not know either, right? And so, with that being said, Miss Heather?
Yes.
This Saturday something is going down, huh?
Oh, yeah. The Women Ignited Summit 2024. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So really excited about that. Really excited about what it means. Excited that this is our second year. And, I am so appreciative and joyful that the seminars and workshops that I am a part of facilitating, for the people who attend, always get what they needed, even when they didn't know what they needed. And so this particular summit is about the perfect plan. And everybody in some aspect of facet in your life has some type of plan. And this really is about how do you start to create the perfect plan, the trigger that gets you to implement it, the inspiration to see it through, the tools needed to engage in a plan, to write a plan, to, bring those things that are deep within you to the surface so that you can write it down and make it plain, right? So I'm excited about not just Saturday. I'm excited about what's happening in women in general. And so it kind of is a catalyst. There are women everywhere that are igniting. And so they're ignited by their passion. They're ignited by their purpose. They're ignited by wanting to see and be the change that we need to see in our world. And so it's not random, and it's not like it's not happening and continuing to happen. My eagerness to support comes from knowing that the women who are out here doing this amazing work, being elevated to place of leadership and respect and value, that we have to have some place to go to continue to do our inner work. Because as beautiful as you may be on the outside, there are still things that we have to address on our inside. Because even in the work that we're doing, we're pouring out of somewhere. And typically it's pouring out of us, pouring out of our memories, our labor, our work, the things that excite us, we're pouring out. But in that space, if we're not healing and cleansing and really filling ourselves back up, we are pouring out the dredge of what's in us, like we're scraping the bottom of our history, our past, our memories, the things that, we may still hold shame or hold guilt or regret in, or just have never addressed. And so I find in this season for me, those things are coming up. A lot of things from my childhood experiences, and not that they were bad things, but they were things that are affecting me now. And so as I make my plans for this next chapter, this next level of this journey for me, as I start thinking about that, if these things have not been, drawing up in me or stirring in me, I wouldn't know what to change. I wouldn't know what to work on. And so I know there are several other women who are going through this process. And as a personal change coach, I see women all the time in this space. And I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of women in different levels in their growth and development. The fact is that we all have it to do. We don't get away from it. And it's not like there is a finished product that we become once we do the work. Once one layer of, who we are and what we're going through shows up, we start to clear that out. But it then opens up the deeper wounds. It opens up the deeper history until we get to the point where we realize that some of the stuff that's coming up is not our stuff. It might be our mother's stuff that needs healing. It may be our grandmother's stuff that needs healing. And what I love about the panel and the cast of facilitators and speakers is that everybody that's showing up on Saturday already gets it. We are ourselves doing the deeper inner work. So we know what we have to offer to the other sisters that's coming for the summit. So that's really exciting.
I thought we had lost you. I thought you was gone.
Well, this is my passion work.
So, so when we talk about this summit, right? First of all, I want to give a shout out to Stream Tech, who is one of the sponsors for the Women Ignited Summit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
So, Dr. Lane, thank you. Right? We don't want to. The other part about this Women's Summit is to add to your information. When Barack Obama and Michelle Obama became president, there were over 400,000 black businesses launched. It's the most black businesses, most businesses launched at one time, at any time in history. Over 400,000 black business. Majority of them were women. When we understand that the importance of we, just that conversation alone is an important conversation, right? Because
Absolutely.
what has happened is that, you know, a lot of people are asking what happened. They say, what happened, Monique? What's wrong with the culture? What's going on? Well, we have a lot of individuals, but the process is actually mimicking the household, right? So 34% of the culture is in 2-parent households. Right? Might be a little less, somewhere in between 31 and 34%, right? It's the same for graduation, for college. It's the same for the, so we're on the backside of the success percentages. Like they said, there are over 295,000 women on the grounds as we speak for Kamala Harris. That's campaigning, working, pounding the pavement. Over 295,000 women. Imagine that.
Mobilized.
When I discovered that there were over 600,000 black eligible male voters in Michigan.
Wow.
I discovered why nothing is getting done for the males. Because if 200,000 of us decided that we were going to collaborate and work together, whatever we needed at the political agenda area, you would have that power. We're so, and I'd say that we're so in position that they had to. That's right, Mom. I ain't the only one to mess up around here. I just want that to be clear.
Wow. That's what he got out of that.
I needed somebody on my team. Right? But we have a lot of individualism. Therefore, the individualism is easy to attack. It's hard to attack a group. Unity, togetherness. It's easy to attack individualism. And so because of that mindset, right, birthed out of these women some magnificent things. When I explained to you that in June for Father's Day, the event that they put on to recognize their fathers was amazing. And then right now, this is the second year for this Women's Summit. And last year was dope. This year is now ignited. So, Ms. Heather, do what you got to do, baby. This is your show.
Well, I want to first encourage those of you who are listening, watching, to make sure that you register. You have up until Thursday of this week to register. You can go to yourinspiredjourney.com. That's www.yourinspiredjourney.com to upcoming events. click on the link and register. Register while there's still time, and expect to be a part of something great. Because the lineup of speakers, I'm just going to give you our MC is Michelle Davenport. And if you know anything about Michelle, she is not just inspiration, but she pulls strength out of all of your cells. She pours motivation into you in those spaces, and you feel ignited when you talk to her. She has such a powerful voice and presence and insight into who we are as individuals, who we are as people, who we are as, just purpose-driven, a purpose-driven community. And she's always encouraging us to do that and do that better. So she's our Mistress of Ceremonies. Our keynote speaker is Gail Perry Mason. And if you know Gail, she's a Detroit homegirl. She is born and raised here, and she pours back out in the community every day with positive affirmations, things to think about, in addition to what she brings to our culture and with her financial background. She does a lot in terms of honoring women. She does a lot in terms of bringing knowledge and resources to our kids. She does the Money Matters camp every year. She's been doing that for a number of years and increasing the insights and the wealth of our children, allowing them and showing them and teaching them how to build their own wealth. She does the same thing with women. And so women and people in general. So she has so much to offer. She is going to initiate our perfect plan. So she's going to get us started. She's going to acknowledge that we are ignited. So I'm looking forward to how she's going to show up and show out, as she always does. Other people are broken into three different segments. So we have a segment that's dealing with our personal, our inner work, our personal work in terms of our plan. What's your plan for how you heal? What's your plan for how you grow? What's your plan for how you connect? And so Reverend Nicole Miller is joining us. She has been the author and the facilitator of A Course in Miracles for some years now, enlightening people. She's going to talk about how do we detox the things that no longer serve us. We have Adrena Sasser, who's also a chief. She's going to help us understand how to connect with our tribe. So what that means in a deeper way about how women connect to women when you have that common ground. And she's going to talk about how to help us to plan around our sister relationships. We have Dr. Chief Silent Storm, who is going to talk a little bit more about that inner healing, that inner work. She has an emphasis on fasting. She has an emphasis on how to direct your energy. So she's going to help us come up with that plan. And we're going to have lunch. And if our host for lunch is the Crab House. So if you know anything about the Crab House on West 7 Mile, you know that it's going to be a delicious lunch. You can't go wrong with them. And so they're going to be delivering our lunch for us. Following lunch, we're going to jump right into that financial work. We are very blessed to have two financial giants who help work through this process for women. They help with community, but they also specifically work with women and groups. And so the first of that dynamic duo is Crystal L. Gunn, financial strategist, president and founder of Amazing Women Network, founder of United Community Solutions. And she's also a part of the collective. And she's going to deliver some powerful information that your plan cannot include. You can't include a plan and don't have your finances included in that. So we're talking about our wills. We're talking about power of attorney. We're talking about those things that affect our next level. So if you're in my generation, things that we should be talking about having a plan for. And then we have the other dynamic speaker and facilitator, Stacey Hunter. If you know anything about Stacey, you know she is extremely committed. She's been in that financial industry for many years, and how she delivers this idea about how we treat credit, how we understand credit and budgeting. She's going to talk to us a little bit more about the things that we don't know. Now, there's some things that people are knowledgeable about, but she's going to break some things down to us in a way that helps us to increase our perfect plan. And then the third segment is around relationships. And so we have my Aunt Sabah, who is going to be talking about relationship first aid. So where do we need help in our relationships? How do we then communicate? And this is all types of relationships. How do we do that and do it better? What's your plan for how you communicate with your children? What's your plan for how you communicate with your spouse? What's your plan for how you communicate with your boss and your coworkers? All these people in our ear and that are always around us, we need to be able to communicate with them. And do that better. And so the next segment in that under relationships is being presented by Antoinette James. Antoinette James is covering specifically family structures. So unique family structures. So maybe you're a grandparent raising grandchildren. Maybe you have a unique household. Maybe you have two parents. Maybe you have foster parents. Maybe you have all the different unique types of family structures that we experience. She's going to be with us talking about that and giving us some tools and some tips on how to plan for a great family. And then lastly, I will be delivering a session on intimate relationships, specifically intimate relationships, and how we are getting better. What are some of the tools we can use to get better? What are some of the ways that we're experiencing intimate relationships where there is no intimacy? So how do we bring and develop and cultivate intimacy? What's your plan for doing that? Either to draw it to you or to enhance the one you have. So I'm really excited about that. So that's kind of our lineup for Saturday. And then there's some surprises in there. There's some networking. There's some raffles and some giveaways. There's some, of course, if you're with me and you know how I do things there, it's some surprises along the way. So come and join us. Get caught up in the synergy of what this really is about. And then come so you can get connected and stay connected. We don't want anybody to fall through the gaps. So that's kind of what we look like on Saturday.
Well, the intimacy part, let's explore. Which is, that's my favorite thing. Anyway, of course, I know all the dudes are going, yeah. Anyway, like the one part, the reason why it's important for you, right, to have the conversation on intimacy, right? Because what we're discovering more and more is the self intimacy does not bring we. There's a lot of us. We're pampering ourselves. We're spas, and at the same time, you a side piece. At the same time, you got your foot in 4 or 5 doors. And at the same time, you asking God to bless you with a man that you know that you just might not even be serious with yourself enough to hold on to. Mm. So when you get into this conversation about intimacy, I think it's ultimately important that we understand that there are some reasons why we get into relationships. And it's not to get out of them. We have to understand that there are things that we have to endure. So you have to be prepared, because why call yourself a wife if, again, I don't want to go into that conversation too deep because I don't want to give away these goods. Right? But it's just really important that women and men For real, men, right? But women, because over the last 10, 15 years, the men reflect how they were raised. And a lot of times we don't want to accept the fact that we didn't do so well, so our sons act just like us. And you're like, what? Yeah, he might not be gay. He just, that behavior that he saw is the behavior that he mimicked. So ladies, you need to understand, if you're going to be ignited for we. Of course, you got to take care of yourself. You got to do the things that you need to do. But when you enter a relationship, it's about we. And again, I'll have this conversation with men because there are a lot of men who independently think that everything has to be about them. And that comes from how they were raised. So I'm pampering myself. I'm going to the spa. I got this real nice place. No, I don't need you. Yeah, you can come by tonight. So the men are literally mimicking the women. And I know that's tough to really swallow, but we need more two-parent households, ladies and gentlemen. The culture. While you're yelling and screaming about racism, the culture. So I just wanted to throw that in there into this intimate moment and express how intimacy works. Either you play for keeps or don't get involved.
I would say,
of course, because you want to say it another way.
So I think one of the cues that we have not often paid attention to is that intimacy has two eyes. So it represents more than just one person. And more than one person's attitude toward relationships, more than one person's experiences, and more than one person's ideas. So part of intimacy is how do we bring those things together under one guideline, under one purpose, under one space. How do we do that? And how do we do that better? But there's the first eye is for you. It's for the person that has an interest in being intimate or having an intimate relationships. And so as we venture in the session talking about really what intimacy is, because I think a lot of us have different ideas about what intimacy actually is, that conversation, just stirring that up a little bit so that we can refine and redefine what intimacy means to us. And so that, as you're having these conversations, not just what you want and what you need, it's also the conversation that you have to help set boundaries and expectations for what intimacy is for you. So one of the areas I think that we need to continue working in and doing self-work with women is we have to be comfortable, we have to be familiar, we have to recognize our own bodies. And I'm not just talking about externally. I'm saying inside and out. You need to know what your triggers are. You need to know what upsets you. You need to know what brings you joy. You need to be able to understand and navigate those spaces that you occupy first. Because you don't want to go into a relationship and you have all of these triggers and your triggers are getting set off. So it doesn't allow trust to be built between you and another person. At the core of intimacy is trust. And if you don't even trust yourself, you don't trust that you'll make a good decision. You don't trust that if something is said, you're not going to cuss somebody out, or you're not going to respond in a way that is more individualistic or more representative of your past history, your past relationships. We pull all of that in, and if they go unhealed, then it's hard for anybody else. I've heard it called walls before. It's hard for that person, that man, to get over the walls of our boundaries and our hurts and our pains that we have set up. And we start booby trapping those spaces. Like if you get over this hurdle, you might be able to get over the hurdle of just having a conversation or getting my phone number or exchanging numbers. You might get over that hurdle, but then you might booby trap the next one. Well, if he doesn't call me within this time, I'm done. I'm not going to answer. The missed information that we've been given is also another, that's another divisive way that we decrease the amount of intimacy that we can face. So all of those things we're going to talk about, or not all of them, but some of those things we're going to talk about at the summit and the intimate relationships segment. And following the summit for November, we have a very interesting topic called connecting with your man. And so that's the next seminar that we have coming up following the summit. So what you don't get in at the Women's Summit, we want to make sure you're at that one.
What is What is the number one thing a man wants from a woman?
What is the number one thing a man wants from a woman? Respect.
Okay. So if respect is what a man wants, right? Right? Because, again, it varies, right? Because a lot of men don't know their love language is respect.
Or they don't call it that.
They don't call it that, right? A lot of men think booty, right? I just want some booty, right?
Meaning sex?
Yeah, sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
right.
checking.
Booty, right? But ultimately, the man wants a place that he can lay his things and is taken care of in a peaceful manner. Yes, men want respect, but more than anything, along with the respect that is very important to us, is where can I lay these things and lay them down, knowing that if I lay them down in her lap, that she is going to bring me peace.
I get it.
So I want to make sure. I just want to make that. I'm pitching that because next year I'm in the Women's Summit. They left me out this year, Monique. and I've gotten quite a few women married, right? So they left me out of this year. Next year I'm knee deep into the Women's Summit. All right. But intimacy is a huge piece, and I like the fact that you've already started your workshop that you offer to women. I like the fact that you put that out there to begin to show women, right, the important things that they could use to get that man, right? It's really in some areas it's very difficult because a lot of men are emotional. We're very emotional these days. And even I've seen the craziest video what the professional athletes are dressing up and wearing, and it's spooky. And so as a woman, when you see that, you're like, wow. Well, that's another area where our women, right, have to learn, right, to bring peace, right, to the man who's a professional, not compete with him, but bring that where you can be with him. so you can add your attributes to his life to maximize the we. He has a lot of gifts, and so does she. And I really want that to be clear this Saturday about, ladies, your gifts are out, but they're not out to drown. They're out to help, which is what God intended you to be, a help meet. They're not out to drown. They're out to help.
I think that also, as we think about what it means to be a woman ignited, I think that conversation is worth having and continuing to have that conversation even beyond this week, that it's important to know and recognize when you have been activated. Because in the season that we're in, there is no room on the sidelines. This political climate is showing us that there's no room on the sidelines, and all of the encouragement around voting and all of the opportunities that come along with that, and all of the implications that are going to come out of this election. There is no room on the sideline. So there's a big push now just to get people who typically don't vote to vote. That is critical in this state. And the fact that people are mobilizing and have a reason to mobilize around putting a woman who is extremely qualified for this position and for this next step in her journey. She is qualified more than any other candidates that have been that are running for office. But the fact that she is a female, a woman, and that's another way to be ignited. To have a qualified woman in leadership, she is ignited. She's ignited. She's ready to take on that responsibility. She was the vice president. And in most organizations, if the president or the chair is unable to assume that role, then you have a competent, quality person to take that role. That's why they're in that role in the first place. So we have to remember that there's some other ways that we're getting ignited and inspired to be and become our best self. And so I think that's where we see women more ignited now than ever. So if you're mobilizing around the fact that there is a woman, not just a woman, but a qualified woman who's already in the second position in leadership in the country, who is now transferring to the first position of leadership in this country, that is reason for us to be ignited, to be proud to share in that engagement. The other part of it is the amount of women's issues that have been ignited and lifted. Black maternal health is ignited and lifted in our community. There are people, there are allies of all ethnic groups that stand behind this particular movement. How do we do this better? How do we get what we need as women? How do we preserve the rights of our bodies? How do we do all who are ignited? They're ignited, meaning they're not sitting on the sidelines. They're petitioning. They are showing up. They are gathering together. That is what this is about. This is a celebration of how we are igniting in our own spaces. How are you igniting at home? How are you now moving from, okay, we're eating fast food, to now we're going to have more home cooked meals. We're going to have less meat in our diet. We're going to do more of this than we did of that. That's a woman igniting. When we talk about girls moving into tech, into STEM, into STEAM, all of these amazing areas, doing all of these amazing things, that's a woman ignited. We are igniting from birth to 105. We are ignited. So igniting also means that you're going to gather that flame together for a purpose. we're not just ignited for the sake of being ignited. We're ignited because we're doing something with it. And we're doing some things about what we see. And we're changing the narratives that no longer serve us. That's how you're a woman ignited. Thank you for my applause, Calvin.
So, again, loving that passion because it's important with this push, right? Because it really is a push to action, and it's one to help family, right? It's one to help visions. It's one. So this ignited piece is such an important thing, right? And so those who are in the room will be lit. Oh, you get that, you get that. Those who are in the room will be lit. And it's we can't look at it other than gathering for the sake of purpose-driven women to do what they're gifted to do for the sake of their families.
But also, you may need to be or feel ignited. So if you've been sitting out and you don't feel connected and you don't feel inspired or motivated, this is also the place for you. Come get ignited. Come let somebody else ignite your flame to remember who you are, to encourage those spaces that no longer serve you, to replace it with something that's good and beautiful and positive. Come feed off of this energy.
Love.
Absolutely. And it's something about when women come together, there's a synergy and an energy that, not just your hair standing up on your arms or the back of your neck, not just that, not just the goosebumps and the chills, but feeling a part of something beautiful, strong, deep. It is deep in our roots that this signature of a woman ignited exists.
It's gonna be some dope women in that room.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That list is a movement in itself.
It is. And all these different ways, and all the different ways that women show up. Yeah. Show up for family. We show up for work. We show up for leadership. We show up for elections. We show up for helping. We show up for advocacy. We show up for awareness. We show up as an example. All of these different things. And you wonder how many different activities or events are going on. But this month in particular is Women's Health Month. Also breast cancer awareness. So all of these amazing things that are lifting women up, lifting up our health so that we're choosing differently. We're choosing our paths differently. Some people are ignited by the experiences that they've had, that they can talk about it and give other women direction. Oh, you don't have to go there. I've already been there. This is what's down that road. You don't have to take that path. Take this way. That's what we do for each other. That's what we do when we share our stories. That's how we inspire someone who you don't even know is going through. So if you do know somebody that's going through, this would be an ideal place for them to go. If you know somebody, maybe you have a daughter or a niece who's confused about which direction they want to go, who needs more positive imprinting, women to model, this is a place for them. If you need more positive women to model, this is the place for you.
Come and get your love. No, I love that, right? And so, like you went through the list, there is some expectation for the people, right? For the people to actually understand and come get your love. But it's funny, and I think this needs to be said. It's funny how this list was cultivated and the women that say, yeah, right? So I'm going to give you a little background because it's important that you get a little background. Crystal, Crystal saw me on a magazine, came and met me at the barbershop. Came over, we met at a party, then she came to the barbershop. We've been linked ever since. Crystal then introduced me to Michelle. Michelle come over to the barbershop. We all had a conversation. Right? Let's go down even further. I'm in Mumford. We do a 500 breakfast at Mumford. From that 500 breakfast, we decided that we was going to do BSN. The second BSN, I meet Stacy. Stacy come in, linked. Gail. I meet Gail in not one, but two places, and is invited to her home. We have a conversation, and Gail is showed up for the pancake breakfast, and we continue on, right? Because what we're doing, we're building from the ground up. We didn't have an established process. We're establishing this movement, Emiy, right? So that's a process. The other relationship that's in there is you. On the radio, come to there 2009, and here we are. In those relationships or those speakers, Antoinette James, I drove all the way to Lansing, Michigan in a snowstorm. She had me come to Lansing, Michigan, and it snowed. We drove up, and we had an event with the kids at the Boys and Girls Club of Lansing. We've been linked ever since. I learned about her story. This Women Ignited piece has a synergy that, as a visionary that I am, I see so much more beyond just in this group. I had to share that because it's a very personal, right? Because these relationships have meant a lot to my journey. Now I'm speaking on me though this time, right? It has meant a lot to my journey. Again, we're getting encouraged me. I'm young from the dirt. It didn't have an established piece. We're establishing something that is very, very powerful, and it has a family connotation to it. And this event this Saturday is full of my family. It's how I see it. So I'm excited, and again,
Ignited?
I'm excited. Y'all lit. Y'all ignited. I'm on fire. I've been on fire. Like, this has been a battle, a joint for me. I'm in flames. So
I also want to make sure that we thank Wayne County Community College District Northwest Campus.
Another story.
That their team has been so supportive of our collective and all of the things that we've been doing over these last few months.
Another story.
They've been an anchor in what we've been doing. They have been there supporting us, supporting the family, supporting the community. And so I just want to make sure we say a special thanks to Wayne County Community College Northwest District. That's on West Outer Drive, 8200 West Outer Drive, as a matter of fact.
So it's cancer awareness. Another story. My sister Shauna B used to reach out. I used to print all of her sisters' cancer T-shirts for years. Shout out to Wayne County Community College. This is right in the wheelhouse. This is what I'm talking about when I say this is Saturday is going to be something special. And for those who are in the room, I'm telling you, the women I just named alone, the synergy. I can go back to my aunt. I used to go in the store and I would always ask about her with my aunt after meeting my aunt. The synergy that's going to be in this room Saturday. Ladies, I don't know if you want to miss it. It's going somebody.
Oh yeah.
Somebody gonna get saved.
You can't be in this space with these dynamic women and not be changed.
Oh man.
Your plan is already in motion. Come and get what you need. Come and get fed. Come and get fed. Come and get directed. Come and get what you need to take to your next level. It's going to be there Saturday. Again, go to www.yourinspiredwithad.journey.com. Go to upcoming events. Click on the button and get your ticket. You have up until Thursday to get this ticket and to join us in this space. We're looking forward to all of our sponsors. We're thankful for them. We're thankful for all of our speakers and facilitators. I'm going to go down the list one more time. Tell you who's on the roster. We have Michelle Harper, who's our Mistress of Ceremonies. We have Gail Perry Mason. We have Reverend Nicole Miller. We have Sister Adrena Sasser. We have Dr. Chief Silent Storm. We have Crystal L. Gunn and Stacy Hunter. We have Ma'at Sabah, Antoinette James, and yours truly, Dr. Heather Hederu. Come and be with us. Get ignited if you're not. Stay ignited if you need it. We'll see you then.
Oh, you signed off?
No, I'm not signing off. But we're out of time.
Tell them where they can reach you.
You can reach me at 313-759-7855. Again, that's 313-759-7855. Please reach out to me directly by phone or reach me through the email.
Yes. You can reach me at calvintman.com. Remember, we're going to speak. I'm bringing men to speak in the elementary and middle schools. Make sure you reach out to me at calvintman@gmail.com. Again, I'll be remorse not to say this. A lot of us men are chauvinistic, misogynistic, and doubtful and negative. A lot of us men have been ostracized and selected as left for nothing and attacked a considerable amount. But then there are a lot of us who are secure and understand that sometimes it's just about her. And at this moment and at this time, it is okay. God did not give all the gifts to the man. He gave a little bit of them gifts to the woman too. And he gave a little bit of the gifts to the children. He did not give all the gifts to the man. And it's very, very important for us to understand that there's a position, and I'm going to give you this piece, and this is real game. Normally I charge for this, right? This is real game for you brothers out there. Stop picking up passengers and get you a co-pilot. Peace.